Hey, it's Holman, and I'd like to welcome you back to the Pod Shed. And we record the show each week from lovely Huntington Beach, California. And today, I think we've got another great episode. I've been busy, as always. I just got back from getting behind the wheel of the new Ford Maverick Lobo. So that was a pretty exciting and interesting, and I can't wait to bring it to you. I'll be sharing that in an upcoming episode. But on this show, I wanted to introduce you to our latest sponsor, and that's UEM Pistons. And we welcome them to the show by having the president and fourth-generation family member, Chris Sulprizio, on the show. UEM's been around and family-owned for over 100 years, maintaining its independence. And today they make a full line of quality pistons, including the diesel dual-alloy line, and I'm looking forward to getting to know UEM over the next month or so. We also have your favorite troublemaker and sometimes co-host, Emmy Hall, back on the show for part one of our two-part drive in the new Nissan Pro 4X line, both Frontiers and the all-new Armada. In this episode, we'll cover our time in the Frontier and then hit up the Armada next week. I hope you can appreciate both that I spent an entire day locked in a vehicle with her and the sheer amount of editing this segment took to make it somewhat listenable. But as a high note, I was able to mine an extreme amount of Emmy drops to use against her in the future. So that'll be a little bit of fun. And if you stick around all the way to the end, there might be a little audio delight for you. We'll see. But before we get to all that, we need to thank the companies that make the Truck Show podcast possible. We'll start with AMSOIL. AMSOIL started the synthetic category back in 1972, and AMSOIL continues to innovate with a wide selection of synthetics that are formulated, blended, and packaged right here in the United States. AMSOIL lubricants are engineered for what you drive and how you drive, with formulations specific to small engines, high mileage, hybrid, diesel, and high performance, such as with their industry-leading Signature Series. AMSOIL's catalog has you covered. AMSOIL even offers ultimate oil change kits, which ensure that everything you need for an oil change comes right to your door in one box, including the oil, filter, gloves, funnel, and even a reminder sticker. AMSOIL offers the protection you demand and the performance you deserve. Get yours today at AMSOIL.com. You have a truck. You need a Kershaw. Kershaw knives, that is. All Kershaw knives come with a limited lifetime warranty, and repair parts are available through the website. Kershaw knives also include lifetime sharpening, and the lineup has everything from EDC knives that can be used and abused for under $50 all the way up to the high-end collectibles. Thanks to our generous partnership with Kershaw Knives, Truck Show podcast listeners can get 40% off MSRP and free shipping over $50 by using the code 2540TSP at checkout. It can be used more than once and even includes automatic. Support the Truck Show podcast and get yourself a Kershaw knife today. Now that you have a new knife on the way, maybe it's time to get yourself that new truck. Might I suggest the rugged and reliable Nissan Frontier? It has everything you need to get the job done and all the comfort you expect without being overly complicated. Powered by a standard 3.8-liter V6 with 310 horsepower and 281 pound-feet of torque, the Nissan Frontier S starts at just $32,050 and has a maximum tow rating of 7,150 pounds. Or how about the off-road-centric Frontier Pro 4X that includes Bilstein shocks, a rear locker, and full skid plates for just $41,770. The Frontier is a midsize truck that's meant for both work and play, and you can learn more at nissanusa.com. Not many businesses survive for more than 100 years, but that's the case with UEM Pistons. Founded in 1922, UEM continues on today, owned and run by the fourth generation of the family that founded them. We especially like the company's dual-alloy line of diesel pistons, which are cast and machined in-house to maintain the highest level of quality and consistency. All dual-alloy pistons feature a high-strength top ring carrier to improve strength of the top land and resistance to the extreme heat of diesel engines. Oil cooling galleries are cast into the pistons as required, and dual-alloy pistons are available for most popular diesel, light, and medium-duty truck applications in either piston-only weight match kits or as a kit with rings. Find your diesel replacement pistons today at uempistons.com. And when it comes to amazing vehicle-based adventure content, how-tos, and great storytelling, only one brand is doing it right in the print magazine space, and that's OVR Outdoor Vehicle Recreation. OVR is about getting out there in our vehicles to explore and discover the world around us. Get complimentary access for a year to the digital library or a discount on your print subscription today at OVRmag.com. Use the promotional code at Truck Show Podcast. The Truck Show Podcast survives off sponsorships and your reviews. Please help me to keep it free by supporting our sponsors and leaving reviews and comments on Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
The Truck Show. We're gonna show you what we know. We're gonna answer what the truck, 'cause truck rhymes with the Truck Show. We have the lifted, we have the lowered, and everything in between. We'll talk about truck The Truck Show. The Truck Show. Oh, oh.
It's The Truck Show with your host, Holman.
Yep, that's right. I'm back live and recorded from the Podshed. Just depends if you're sitting with me here right now or if you're listening later. I'm sure most of you are because, well, doing a podcast on your own is pretty weird because most of the time you're just talking to yourself. And fortunately, I wasn't alone for the entirety of this whole episode because I had UEM's president, Chris Sulprizio, on the show to talk about UEM and pistons, and we covered a lot of great stuff. So let's get into it. All right, everybody, I'm back in the Podshed, and with me today over our Zoom line is Chris Sulprizio, who's the president and fourth generation family member who is running UEM Pistons today, a U.S. company, actually doing manufacturing of high-quality pistons based out of Carson City, Nevada. Welcome to the show, Chris.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
I'm going to play a jingle because everybody gets a jingle, and sit tight. Here we go.
Welcome to the parts department.
Screw, nut, filter, oil, grill, tools, wheels, tires, brakes, lights, gears, belts.
And your wife warns you not to.
Don't you spend our money!
And then you'll want to come back.
So all of our guys that are listening right now, they're trying to figure out what to spend money on that they can hide from their wives. And I think pistons are the perfect thing because they're inside the engine. So you can spend some good coin, get some performance and some durability, and your wife will never know because she doesn't see it on the truck.
Oh, they'll know. They always do know.
Yeah, that's true. They look at the bank account and they go, "Hey, where's this? What's this big hole we got here?"
Yeah, they have an uncanny ability to sniff out new stuff. I shoot a lot, so
yeah, me too.
If a new gun shows up, you're that's always been there.
Oh yeah. My wife, I don't know, I was in the safe or something, and I think she looked and she goes, "How many of those do you have now?" I'm like, "What? Huh?" Oh, this.
Yeah, that's a dark day when they get in your safe.
Yeah, I had to tell her about the staccato because that was a pretty pricey purchase. So there's no way skirting around her on that one. So but I took her shooting, and it's funny because wives don't like to listen to their husbands, especially training something like shooting, or they don't want to hear about driving or how you do your laundry, and they don't want to hear it, and I get it. So I got her a couple hours with an NRA instructor, a female NRA instructor, and I'm like, listen. Go work with her because, she's going to be good for you, and you're going to tune me out within the first 5 minutes at the range. So she takes the class, and she uses Glocks, which I don't like. I usually have a 1911 or a XD, and she comes home. She goes, "Yeah, we were using Glocks, but I didn't like the way it felt in my hand." And she said, "Well, maybe you should try an XD. Do you know what that is?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah." So I open up the safe and I'm like, "Which one?" So we go to the range.
Oh, busted.
Yeah, but she was happy because I had it, right? So we're good.
Nice,
I let her shoot my XD40 and my XD Compact and then my Hellcat. And, she shot really well with it. And then I gave her my 1911. So I've got a Springfield 1911 that's got a bullnose conversion on it, Wilson Combat Springs, Wilson Barrel, some smithing done to it. She started putting 45 through the same hole within 4 shots. I'm like, "Oh, okay, you're done."
Yeah. My girlfriend right now, she's a better shot than me. And I had some friends getting rid of some guns. I got her a 41 Magnum single action.
Nice.
And took it out, and she shot that thing better than I did. And I guess I'm a rifle guy, or I don't know. But I don't have the calm patience that she does, which is frightening.
So talk to me about the family business and, fourth generation. You guys are one of those few companies that have exceeded the 100-year mark and are still privately owned. I mean, that's incredible. And to be on the West Coast, you started in California, obviously not necessarily business friendly these days. You're in Nevada now. What's it like to be in manufacturing? What was the history behind the business? Tell me a little bit about the background.
Wow. Well, it's quite long, and we talk about it on our website and other stuff. But essentially, the business started with my great-grandfather immigrating to the U.S. Back in the early 1900s. He paid his way by working on a ship, got off at San Francisco, and went off. He was one of those hobby cigar racers at the
Nice.
time. Probably. And he decided to start a piston company over in Fresno, Modesto area. And that's how it started.
Did he have any expertise? Like what was it about pistons at that time that he thought he could do something better than the next guy? Or was it availability, or it sounds like
I
he
think
was a
it was
pretty genius guy.
availability on the West Coast,
Okay.
and options, and the proliferation of cars back then. There were so many models, so many different types, because automobiles were still in their infancy. I have an old catalog from the 20s that we had.
Oh my gosh.
And there are car companies in there that you would never have heard of, Moon, and just it goes on and on. It's fun to look back through that stuff. The way the automotive industry built out over the decades was it became very regional. So different regions had different companies that were supplying parts. So I remember maps back in my childhood that were like, okay, you have Civilite on the West Coast, you have Zollner, you have Badger pistons, you have TRW, and the country kind of had different piston manufacturers that serviced that area. And one of the big things back then was that back then the aftermarket had a really bad name to it because it was known for lesser quality. And so one of the big challenges coming through the decades, through the 50s, 60s, for the aftermarket was standardization. So when they buy a Ford piston for this application, it needs to look like the OE piston and function like the OE piston. And people in our industry grouped together and recognized that it was better that everyone standardized so that the aftermarket could actually produce parts for people that would function and keep the reputation of the aftermarket. So there was a lot of collaboration, but there was a lot of competitiveness too.
So did he have any formal training in machining or casting or any of that? How did he pick that up?
I actually don't know. He was very much a businessman, and my whole family coming up, I've been blessed with just some amazing mentors. To answer the question specifically, I don't know that, but they were pouring molten aluminum. I don't even know where they got the aluminum at that time, but probably recycling and recycled aluminum. But yeah, they started developing. They moved up to the Bay Area, and at that time, the factory actually was full of Portuguese immigrants.
Okay.
Our country, it's funny having factories in a country over 100 years because it can be marked by different groups of immigrants working in the factory.
Well, it's also funny because we're on the West Coast, and you wouldn't think that Portuguese and Italian immigrants would necessarily be over here. You'd think it would be more of Asian immigrants coming over because it's closer. You would think that, a lot of those people on the East Coast.
We had a wave of that too. So, through the 50s and 60s, the factory was all 40s, 50s, 60s was all Portuguese, Italian immigrants. Coming up through the 70s and 80s because of the Vietnam War.
Sure.
We got a lot of Vietnamese in the shop, and they were coming in, and then obviously the Hispanic population is a big thing now in our workforce. But man, it cycles, and our country is beautiful for that. It really is. And I still see guys. There's a noodle restaurant in town here, and I go in and they're like, "What's up, United Engine?" Because all those guys start here in the U.S. and it's been a good thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But now we find ourselves over 100 years. We're global. We also have a manufacturing facility in India. And that's where we're doing a lot of our diesel pistons out of. And I own and operate that factory. I travel. I know all my guys.
Wow.
And it's been just a great experience learning and manufacturing. And I've got some stories around that as well. So, yeah.
So you mentioned the diesel pistons, and there was a time that you guys weren't in that and you brought it back. What was the decision, and how's the line? I know we were talking about the new dualoys, and I've got some samples you guys sent me. These things are absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, thank you. If you hold that up, and I don't, a lot of people really don't understand all the features on a piston, but if you look at the top ringland there,
Sure, right here.
that is a Ni-resist iron ring that is cast inside of the aluminum. And the reason that we put that on there is because of the extreme compression ratio of a diesel motor, and it'll actually rip the top ring out of the top ringland if you don't have that additional support. The material will locally yield, and the ring will work its way off, and you're done. So that's a very interesting invention, and it's critical to diesel operation and the diesel piston. It's called an alphin bonded top ring or a ring carrier. My family back in the 50s actually patented and invented that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they did. And I have the original patents for that here at the office. And we were the ones that came up with that idea. It's an interesting process to get iron to bond.
Yeah, it's essentially two dissimilar metals, and they have to go into probably one of the most extreme environments possible because they've got to get up to temp, they've got pressure, they've got heat, and then they've got a full thermal cycle of cooling down to basically room temperature and then having to do it all over again, right?
Yeah, and that bond has to be perfect. Just from a common sense standpoint, we all know that iron or ferrous materials melt at a much higher temperature than aluminum. And so aluminum's an incredible element. It is it's incredibly reactive, and it oxidates really quickly. And so what happens is that it's actually in its molten state a solvent of ferrous material. And so what we do is we take that iron ring and we dip it in molten aluminum, and it doesn't start to melt the iron. It starts to, it's a solvent. It starts to degrade it.
Oh, interesting.
And so what you do is you take the iron, you take the Ni-resist ring, you dip it in molten aluminum. It starts kind of almost like an acid, like kind of working its way into the ferrous material. You put it in the molds, you pour over it. And when you do that, you get a perfect bond of dissimilar materials where it was coming apart. And it's a really neat process. It's unbelievable that, again, my family came up with that. It blows my mind. But as time went on, we got really into the automotive segment. There was big business there, just big 8-cylinder business for forever. And we backed away from doing the diesel manufacturing, and to a point where it was virtually none of our business. Other companies went off and took that technology, perfected it further, and we got ourselves in a situation where we actually almost forgot something that we invented. We were been around that
Sure,
long.
yeah.
Where, the company takes a different direction, other companies improve it. So when I came on in 2015 with the company, I had a lot of people saying, why don't you get back in diesel? And so we had to go learn how to make the current diesel pistons again. But we came up with a fantastic product, a great option for the customer to drop in, and I'm really happy with it. It's one of our best lines right now.
So you guys have a full line. You've got the Icon forged pistons. You've got the cast performance, which are your KB performance or hyper. How do you say that? Hyper
eutectic. Yeah.
And then and then Silverlight OEM stuff. You've got the dualoys for diesel. You've got motorcycle, and you've got the speed of air pistons.
Yeah, we're really diverse.
Yeah.
A lot of people are very confused, about what UEM is. Are we a group of companies, or people come up to me at shows and say, "Oh, you're KB Pistons. You're that company." And I'm like, "No, we're UEM, but our product lines are Silverlight, KB Hyper Eutectic, Icon Force Performance, Dualoy. We have a great KB motorcycle lineup. So those are our products under that." One of the most interesting things about us is that we cast and forge. We do everything completely in-house in our factories. And so we have cast foundries and we have forged foundries. And then we feed those products into our machining. So we have complete control over our processes. a lot of guys, especially domestically, will buy their forgings and then machine them, and they're essentially a machine shop.
Sure.
A lot of our competitors are great; they make great pistons, but we, especially in the performance realm, but we do it all. So we are definitely a one-stop shop. If you come in, you can get a replacement piston or a performance piston. It's hard to do it all, really.
I mean, how many SKUs do you have? Your catalog must be a phone book.
Yeah, we have a phone book of pistons, that's for sure. We probably have about 2,500 base SKUs, but that's not considering oversizes because we're in the replacement, so it blows up from there. So, yeah.
How do you decide? I mean, I guess you can look over the history to figure out what's moving, but are there any vehicles out there right now that are surprising to you that move a lot of pistons? And then in the truck space, what do you see is your biggest mover there?
Our diesel pistons are doing very well in the truck space right now. Mm-hmm. The Duramaxes, we see a lot of action just because guys like to chip them and get crazy with them, and they crack pistons. It's a very harsh engine for pistons, and you get a lot of piston failure with Duramax especially. So that one's doing well. One of the things I'm proud about, because we've been around for so long, is the Ford F-150, and this year was the first year in like 40 years that it wasn't the number one automobile in the U.S. But the Ford F-150 was the number one automobile in the U.S. for like 40 years straight, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And we have a piston for every F-150 coming up through. And so
that's awesome. I feel like there needs to be like a shadow box or display case with one from every.
I want to do it. Like have the F-150 and then which pistons with which ones. I think that would be
That'd be so cool.
But right now, the latest iterations with Ford were, of course, with the EcoBoost engines, direct inject EcoBoost engines. Yep. And I'm in love with that engine. The power that those little 6 cylinders put out.
I've got a friend who's got an Explorer ST, and he's taken it all the way to the limit. He's fragged it at 100 miles an hour. He beats Lamborghinis. It's got 700 horsepower, fully tuned, but his engine only lasts like 1,000 miles at a time, and he just keeps rebuilding it and making it stronger and better and different. And he calls it the Beast. I think it might be the Beast ST or something like that on Instagram.
Well, those things, that 10-speed, they had so much trouble with that 10-speed transmission.
Yeah,
hooking it up to that power plant. That's where it would always fail, is their transmissions were. But that's a cool little engine. I love that engine.
I've got one in a 67 F100 that is one day will rise again, but I've got a 3.5 liter EcoBoost in it. So,
did you really?
Yeah.
You put it in an old one? Oh, that's cool.
So I wanted to piss people off. So, but then basically I just ended up getting pissed off because it's been sitting for so long. So we'll get that thing rescued and hopefully in the next year or two we'll get it back on the road. But it's got an EcoBoost. I got Raptor turbos for it too. So hopefully we can get it all working. It should be cool.
Yeah, I bought the. I have a Raptor. It's but it's a 2014 6.2 liter.
Yep.
And
love that one.
At the time I got it, I was getting really Mad Max about everything because it's the last of the V8s.
Yeah.
And I was like, I better buy this because it's the last of the V8s.
I have a Wrangler 392 in the driveway for the same reason.
Yeah. I'm like, they're not going to sell V8s anymore. I just got to get one. So
I got a funny story about that truck, and I won't go through the whole thing, but people who listen to the show, they know my history with Raptor and kind of the behind the scenes. But when the 6.2 came out, Ford had their media drive after it was released to the dealerships. So myself and another journalist who now works for Ford paid a guy to rent his Raptor 6.2 for the day. And we went out and we did a full story on it. Man, they were pissed. They were like, you can't do that. Well, I think there's an embargo. We're like, it was in the wild. We found a dude. And so that caused a lot of waves. But we basically took it out to the desert, and the guy let us pound on his brand new 6.2 Raptor for the day. And we had the first stories and beat everybody to the punch.
Between you and I, the EcoBoost is a better platform. But if I throw a Roush on it or something, I'm just waiting till I want to blow it up. So it'll get a Roush or something on it, and then we'll have fun.
Those first gen Raptors are awesome. I mean, they're a little bit more simple, not as much travel, but they're really balanced. You get into the 3.5 trucks, and you can get it. It's harder to get in over your head on a first gen Raptor. On a second gen with the EcoBoost, when the turbos hit, if you're in a funky position or you're on top of the whoops or whatever, you got to be really careful because it can bite you. But it's a great truck in the right hands.
Yeah, yeah, and where we live in Nevada, it's just we've got plenty of desert out there for that, so it's good. I don't get it out as much as I want to, but
I think that's all of
that's
us these days.
that's running a piston company, my friend.
Oh, we
Yeah.
should all be so lucky. So
Oh, sometimes I wonder why I make stuff, but we have fun doing it, and our whole crew is just great. I don't know, with your listeners, I don't know how deep they go down into the engines, but by the time you're making pistons decisions, it's a
yeah, you're deep.
pretty heavy
We
build.
got a lot of those guys too. I mean,
Yeah,
every time we have somebody on talking about something technical, the listenership responds, and we've had some really deep dives with engineers. And I'm thinking this isn't going to be good on audio. People are going to be bored to death, and they're like, "That was the best episode ever." So our guys
yeah.
love that kind of stuff. So
Well, I mean, just let's take that example. I mean, what it takes to rebuild an EcoBoost is not an easy.
sure,
It has variable everything.
yeah, yeah,
It's just a tough build, and I've seen some of our production engine rebuilders that we sell parts to try to deal with some of these newer direct inject engines. It's hard. It is hard to put
yeah.
some of these motors together, and I respect guys that go after it because it is an undertaking.
It's amazing that they can, churn those things out at the volume that they do because of how complex they are. And one of the things my buddy Darren with the ST, he fragged his flywheel, and I hooked him up with a company who makes racing billet flywheels. And the transmission company who built it for it said, "We're not sending you another transmission until you can get the flywheel beefed up." And so he bought it,
Yeah.
and they're like, "We're not sending it to you because it's not gonna last." And so he got that and put the engine back together. And so now he's hit like 700. Now he has it tuned back to like 550. I'm like, dude, just enjoy it for a while, He goes,
Yeah.
but he's got his, all the dash cams and stuff, and you'll see him just
Yeah.
smoke Lambos and things, and it's his
I want to see
favorite
this
thing.
thing now. This is you're gonna have to send me some pictures after.
Oh
the
yeah,
pod-
for sure.
Yeah, I want to check it out.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. So, do you ever go to the machine shop and then just machine weird stuff for yourself? Like, is there any one-offs or anything like that where you're like, hey, I got a whole machine shop.
We
I might
always
just build
have, we always have weird stuff going on around here. My dad is still here in the business. He's 76, and he is an innovator. He is an inventor, and so we always have something crazy going on in here. He's got another
Awesome.
project, and it's not always piston. I can't. He's got a project he's working on right now. I can't tell you. We have a small shop here at the office, but we've got some basic equipment here. But
enough to be dangerous.
yeah. Oh, it's there's this. We have a lathe here from the 40s.
Oh, that's the best kind.
I wish I could show you a picture of it. The thing is old school, but it doesn't have a lot of lash in it, and it's good. And it still works. So
Those old
but
40s things are awesome.
We have fun around here. Yeah.
So did you think that this was going to be your career? I mean, did you go off and do anything else and come back, or was your goal always to continue on the family business? I would imagine at some point you look at the legacy and you're like, man, I don't want to let that go.
Yeah. I'm an engineer by trade. So I went off to school. I worked in the factory when I was a kid, off and on, summers or
Sure.
whatever. I was in and out of the factory. My uncle, he was kind of a sadist with us, and if we went looking for a job with my uncle, he made sure we had the worst job in the factory. And I still remember.
It's good for you though, right?
Oh, I remember my cousin. My cousin would get the worst of it because he was a little crap. But, I remember him in the solvent tank, like shoveling the sludge in the solvent tank. And I'm sitting there thinking, that can't be like, you're going to get cancer or something, because he's like in solvent, and I'm like, and so my uncle always made sure we had the worst jobs at the factory. I went off, started a career in engineering. I got my master's, and then I worked aerospace.
Okay.
I worked for Raytheon Missile Systems down in Tucson, and making stuff for our people we don't like overseas.
Uh-huh.
And
Freedom seeds.
yeah, that's exactly right. And fantastic place to work. My dad and my uncle were running the company at the time. My uncle ended up passing away tragically. He rode rodeo, and he had a horse accident
Oh
that
man.
eventually ended up leading to him passing. And my dad called me up, and I was getting tired of aerospace. I was starting to put together a resume at the
The ebb and
time.
flow is difficult because it's all you live or die off the contract. I worked at Boeing for a while and
Yeah,
grew up. My a lot of family friends worked at Boeing here in Huntington Beach,
yeah.
and my mom worked there in HR, and so we knew all the people. And when it went from McDonnell Douglas to Boeing, and then
Hmm.
again aerospace, especially in defense, you live and die off the contracts, and so some people are lucky and have a 40-year career. Other people have like 5, 10-year careers or
Yeah,
5-year careers.
I
Rather.
was actually very fortunate when I worked there. The I did analysis, so we were a support group. We did everything, so I wasn't as contract desperate
Dependent, yeah.
as a lot of people, but it was just tiring, and so it was kind of odd because at the time that my uncle passed, I was thinking about going, and my dad called up and said, "Hey, do you want to maybe join the company?" And my uncle again was the kind of guy, it would have been too many roosters in the hen house, and it wouldn't have worked if I would have come on. So I did aerospace for 10, almost 11 years, and then my dad called and I came up and joined, and it's been a wild ride. You come into the company, and I knew a lot about it, but I spent a lot of time in our factory up front, just to make sure that I understood every stinking thing in that place before we started making changes. But we've made tons of changes. Every year I go to the factory, our team is just absolutely incredible. That it looks like a new place every year, and I don't think it can get better. And it's better and it's better. And we have a lot of fun doing it. I'm really proud of all of our employees, and they're great. Everybody's great. So
So what's it
yeah.
like to do manufacturing overseas? And I mean, obviously you have like a big business unit that you have to oversee, and you're not directly there. I would imagine
It's difficult.
yeah.
There's a lot of travel involved with it. A lot of things. I think the first thing you have to do is you have to have a good know-how of getting everybody to talk. So I'll have a U.S. guy talking to a Mexican guy talking to an Indian guy, and
Yeah.
everybody, and it's and
It's like
it's
that I Love Lucy where she's at like the border,
Oh,
right?
it is. But probably the hardest thing out of all of that is the foundry work. And I really believe that that's the heart of a piston factory is the foundry. I always tell our guys that that's where it starts. That's where the metal quality starts. That's where the quality of the product starts. It's inside the foundry. And that job is a no mess around job. It is, in the summers, you're talking 115, 120 degrees in there, and those guys are tough as nails and they get the job done. And I've traveled the world looking at. I'm a kind of how are things made
Yeah. Yeah. No,
person.
I
I
love
love.
that stuff.
I'm a house. If someone tells me, "Hey, you can come and see a factory," I am
Oh,
on it
we've done that on
because
this show. I mean, we've gone to car manufacturers. Amsoil is one of our partners. We did a whole episode of two of them actually behind the scenes of how they make their oil in the lab. I mean, we've gone all different places where we've been invited to showcase like how things are made. And I love it. It's one of my favorite things
well,
about this
maybe
job.
me and you need to put that on the calendar. I can
Would
show
love
you.
to.
I can show you how a piston's forged or
Yeah.
how a piston's cast. The rest of it from there is just machining's machining, and then but we also do all our own coatings. Actually, we just got certified for Cerakote.
Oh,
Uh,
nice. I know the
the
guys over
guys
there.
that do guns, they
Yeah.
started doing automotive products.
Yep.
We tested their product, and it's second to none,
Good
easy to
dudes too.
apply. I'm one of the Cerakote, like if you go look for the applicators, but we're like we do it for pistons, and we're not going to do your AR.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So
yeah,
what on the piston itself gets Cerakoted?
it's a thermal barrier,
Okay.
so we apply that to the crown, and that helps a lot, especially with some of our diesel applications with the temperature fatigue cracking that happens on the top. If we can shield the crown of the piston from a lot of that heat, it helps a lot with the durability of the piston. The thermal barriers are an interesting. You can control a lot of the combustion. You can push more heat back up into the combustion chamber. They're not always the best 100% choice. If you run thermal barriers on nitrous applications like race stuff. Sometimes you'll dump a ton of heat down into the rings and then roast your engine. So it's not always the best thing to put, but we have that option. I like offering options for our customers, and I like when people call us and, can you do that? And I'd say, absolutely, we can do that. That's important.
What's the difference between a OE replacement durability piston and a race piston? Like what are the things that are going to change between those two applications that somebody should be looking for or should know about? Because I think there's some people who like the idea of, oh yeah, man, I put racing pistons in it, but they don't. It's like an inappropriate use case, right? And so what?
Yeah, I mean, there's and that's a really good way of putting it. A lot of the OE stuff for a long time, and even now, I think some of like some of the Hellcats or something are running forged pistons in there. But for a long time, OEs ran cast pistons within their high performance. All the vets and all of that were all cast pistons, and that really came down to their ability to tune. They have $1 billion computer behind this engine that can tune the engine. So the difference is your ability to tune, the appropriateness of the application. Obvious, and I know your listeners probably know all the alloy types, but the 2618 alloy that's usually used on the high performance race stuff on the top end, it's very forgiving for damage, very forgiving for bad tunes. It pulls a lot of heat out of the combustion chamber, runs really loose clearances because it expands a lot. It slaps a lot when you start it up. You got to warm up, and cast materials are much more stable. They tend to be harder. Like our Hyper Eutectic is extremely hard, extremely rugged. But if you mess up with it and it grenades, it'll turn into 1,000 pieces. Our KB lineup is a good mid-range option if you got a hot rod and you're not just doing tons of forced induction on it, turbos or blowers. It's great for naturally aspirated, carbureted hot rod stuff because it doesn't expand, handles the heat wonderfully. It's very wear resistant. But once you start, starting to do forced induction, and you're probably going to want to look at more of a forged application for that. The nice thing about a forging is the grain structure and the grain realignment on some of the pieces is really nice. I have a forging right here, and I'll get it close, but I don't know if you can see.
Yep.
There's tiger striping in there.
I can see that, yeah.
And when you forge, you can see the tiger striping up in here. And when you forge, the grains of the aluminum flow in a direction almost like a tree, where a tree would get its strength. It's a very natural concept where when you get everything flowing in the same direction, you get strength. And so that really helps with the forgings in that way. We get strength in a cast piston different ways than that.
So why UEM? I mean, I think we've talked on a bunch of little things, but if you had to sum it up for somebody who is out shopping for pistons right now, or maybe they're not sure, I'm sure they could call you and pick the right application, but what's the best thing that you would say is your differentiator? What does UEM do really well that your customers keep coming back for more?
Well, first and foremost, if you call us, you're going to talk to a person.
Well, we like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a value that I plan on keeping, where if you call us, you're going to talk to one of our guys. Our tech line's great. If one of our guys doesn't have the answer, I've got 4 or 5 guys ready there to find the answer for you. So that's one thing, is you're going to deal with real people. You're going to deal with a real company that's a family. And we really do have that ethos here. We have a ton of options. We're a great option for your replacement project. Check us out for performance stuff. We make a great performance piston. And then, of course, our diesel. That's been our newest love so far. And call, and if you guys need help finding a piston, just call our guys and they'll walk you in it. Go to the website, but you'll get some help. And you're dealing with a real family company when you're dealing with us. And, we do it all in-house. So there's not one thing about these pistons that we don't know about.
That's awesome. The website's easy, uempistons.com, and it's really good. There's a ton of info. I was going through all the different subjects and the About Us to learn about you guys and all the different lines and what you offer. And then, of course, you're on your Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, UEM Pistons. What's next for you guys? What's on the horizon? And what do are you going to be expanding into more applications in the diesel and truck space?
Obviously the market's contracting, the market's changing.
Sure.
There has just been so much turmoil and confusion with the automotive industry right now. 2 years ago, it looked like everything's going electric. 1 year ago, plants are opening V8 shops back up. And so keeping our finger on the pulse of what's going on with the main manufacturers. What I would say is one of the big trends in automotive in general is engine downsizing. So the U.S. public loves power. People in Europe don't power as much as the U.S. But what we're seeing in the U.S. is a hunger for engine downsizing where you get a lot of horsepower off 4 or 6 cylinders, and that puts a lot of pressure on the pistons. So what we've seen in gasoline pistons is more diesel features showing up on
like pistons. DI. There's a lot of diesel features in DI engines.
Pistons. They look very similar to diesel pistons, or they have features that are. Sure. There are other features that are totally different from that, but they're starting to get up into compression ratios that are kind of close to a diesel.
Yep.
And to get all that power out of 4 or 6 cylinders is it's a daunting task. And so what's next on the horizon for us is increasing our complexity level, supporting those OE replacement applications. On the performance side, we're always watching for what guys want and need out in the race world. And so we keep our thumb on the pulse there. And I'm going to keep on supporting our diesel community. I'm always impressed at what they come up with next. So, we watch, it comes out and we're like, okay, now we need to go work on this. And, in the aftermarket, that's how it works. An engine platform comes out, right? Well, it's not going to need pistons for what, maybe 150,000, 200,000 miles. You're going to start seeing that. So that's kind of the timer. When a new engine hits, that's our timer to be like, okay, in 4 or 5 years, we better have that piston because people are going to need it. And that's how we kind of work for the replacement side of things.
Sure. And of course, the caveat is on the performance side of things, it's going to be people blowing up their engines and stuff, testing and pushing to the limits. So you'll have to.
Yeah. And, the performance industry is very much an iterative process. So, you'll have a guy out there with a big Hemi, turboed Hemi or something, and he'll come to you and that's a partnership that happens between the racer and the piston designer where, we don't want to grenade their motor right away. This is kind of on the higher custom performance end, but you run it and they send it back to you and they say, look, let's change the skirt here. We have enough know-how to get you extremely close, but there's always that tweaking that happens to make a championship motor. And so that there's a little bit of an iteration that happens at that point.
That's an amazing level.
High end of stuff.
Yeah, that's an amazing level of capability, though, to be able to, get that close and then tweak it for somebody to wring the most out of their application.
Yeah, and we flow that back down into our shelf stock. We'll learn different stuff, and we'll put that on our shelf stock offering that comes out. And so we flow it both ways. We know pretty much where to go, but then when we start working with people, it really refines it. That's so awesome. That partnership between the customer and us is extremely important also.
I've been doing this podcast 7 years and I still haven't figured out how to refine it. So your business is definitely doing better than mine.
It's a challenge. It's a challenge. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate the support, and it's great to get to know you a little bit and UEM Pistons. And thanks for coming on today. This has been really enlightening. And I've got, like I said, a couple of these bad boys sitting here that you send me as samples. Yeah. These things are awesome.
They make back in the 80s, everyone in the factory, they make good ashtrays, but I don't know if people do that anymore. So maybe a business card holder or something.
No, I'm a cigar guy, so
oh yeah,
I might. I think let's see, maybe we can machine the bowl out a little deeper so it can fit what's left of a Churchill in there.
We have a lot of goose hunters. They're good when you're throwing duck decoys out. They're good little anchors for your duck decoys.
Oh, nice.
Off on the pinhole and stuff.
I feel like if you lived closer, you and I would be hanging out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, if there's ever an opportunity to visit one of the factories or do something like that at the show, please let me know because I would love to do that.
Let's talk about that.
Okay.
And we have 2 enormous 500-ton forging presses that just shoot fire, and it's just fun to watch.
Nice.
Fun to watch. So I still watch it all the time. Pretty fun, and we can maybe have you pour your first piston.
Oh,
We'll
okay.
suit you up, and maybe we'll have you pour some aluminum.
Okay, now we're talking. No, that's totally up my alley.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
Well, right on, Chris. Really appreciate your time today.
I appreciate it too. Thank you, man.
Yeah, we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks again to Chris for making some time to talk pistons. And next up is a truck review of the 2025 Nissan Frontier Pro 4X. It's maybe less of a review and more of just what it's like to hang out with Emmy and I on a media drive. She's at the helm in this, and I'm riding shotgun, recording all sorts of things that she said. I think I was able to take about 2 hours and bring it down to 20 minutes or so. Hopefully you get our take on the Frontier and enjoy all the Emmy-ness she has to offer.
Truck review. Yeah. Rolling coal and dragging truck nuts.
All right, somewhere in the middle of the desert with Emmy Hall.
With me!
You know you have a microphone. You don't have to lean into my
Oh, that's right. I don't have to.
So we're just we're in this Nissan Drive program. This is a Pro 4X, so half Frontier, half Armada, and we're doing some wheeling. And despite my best thoughts, I allowed
I don't know where
Emmy
this
to
is
drive
going.
first.
I know.
Yeah.
It's like, where is this out? What's happening here?
The Nissan people were concerned when they saw the two of us get into a truck
I
together.
know. They were like, nope. We know what happens with those two.
Yeah. But yet, here we are.
Look, let's see how high we can get on these berms.
So we're in a little notchy thing with high berms on either side. And
Whee!
we're going like 6 miles an hour, and Emmy's treating it like we're on a dirt bike. She's going to flop this thing right on its side. No, the Frontier is incredibly stable.
I have not been in a Frontier in so long.
I love these trucks.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, you know what? I love this truck because it's just an honest, good pickup truck. Leaf springs, V6, automatic, no turbos, no superchargers, no hybrid system. It's just a good, solid pickup truck.
I'm excited about the hydraulic steering because this is the last pickup truck that actually has old school hydraulic steering.
There's lots of old school stuff on here. But you know what's funny is it's underneath, it's all old school truck.
Yeah.
Yet we've got the big screen and CarPlay, and then it's got adaptive cruise control, and it's got the dual climate control. This has the premium package. So the one that we're driving today is Afterburn Orange, which there's some contention
that it should be called Afterburner.
Yeah, but anyway, the marketing person in charge at the time said no, Afterburn, and we think it shouldn't be that. We should be Afterburner. So I'm gonna call it Afterburner anyway because that's I accidentally say it all the time.
So base is 41,000?
Yeah, so if you were to get a Pro 4X crew cab short wheelbase, obviously you can get the long wheelbase, the long bed, automatic V6. The base price of this truck is $41,770. You know, they don't have something that's analogous to the super high TRD Pro.
Yeah.
This would be more analogous to a TRD off-road or an FX4, right?
Right.
$41,770, and you can get the convenience package, which has the heated seats and spray-on bed liner, Utilitrax. That's all the stuff that you want to get.
And you need that. I'm using the heated seats right now. Yep. I have swamp ass. It's great.
That's too much information.
No, it's so great. There's a tiny little bit of sweat dripping down my butt crack.
Okay, thank you. I'm sure Nissan will love to invite you back for that. This has the round view monitors and LED under rail lighting, all that stuff. So that's $2190. And then the Pro Premium package, that's the Fender Audio 10 speaker, which I love. Leather seats, and then just things like tilt and sunroof, and then premium paints, $425. And going down the list, basically this package, as we sit right now, and this is the upgraded two-tone beadlock look wheels, which I like the standard wheels better.
I like the standard wheels better,
That's
too.
$990. I would save that $990 and get standard wheels.
Yeah,
they're
me too.
One of the best looking
me too.
OE wheels.
Is the sunroof a standalone option? Because I don't want the sunroof
It's not standalone, but it's as part of a package.
Oh, so if I get that package, I have to get the sunroof?
Yeah. So this is $50,245, which is
that's
not
cheap.
bad for all the stuff that you get on it.
Yeah.
So Emmy is jostling us around. She thinks we're in a lifted Miata. Clearly we are not.
Well, I know, but we're in a conga line, so we're going really slow, and we didn't air down.
We've not
So
down yet. That's
anytime
correct.
we go over any kind of like golf cart chatter, it's going to be bad. Especially
But it's
at
not
this...
bad. It's fine.
Well, no. But I mean, especially at these slow speeds,
Yes.
like you're going to be
Well, because the suspension isn't in its velocity.
right.
Dependent zone, right?
Because we've got Bilsteins on this, right?
Yeah, Bill Steins.
Bilsteins like beer steins.
So we've got Bill Steins, you got full skid plating, you got tow hooks,
And
you
if
got the
they're
rear locker.
steel skid plates.
Yep, steel skid plates like they should be.
Yeah.
But overall, like, I would probably do this package for me personally, and then I just wouldn't do the premium because it's like I don't need this. Although it does come with the Fender audio system.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm pretty much deaf, so that doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. It's got HomeLink and a bunch of stuff. Auto
Does
dimming
anyone
mirror,
ever
don't care.
actually use HomeLink,
I
though?
use it all the time.
Do you really?
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, man, that's tough because then, like on the Pro Convenience package, I definitely would want to do that because you get like the spray-on bed liner Utilitrack, which is great. By the way, Nissan's still the only manufacturer that I am aware of that uses metal cleats on their tie-down system.
So in my Colorado, it's a 2015 that I inherited from my dad,
Mm-hmm.
and I swear to God, the first time I went and loaded something in the bed, I'm like, Dad, because there are no tie-downs in the back of that truck, and it sucks.
Yes.
It sucks.
Having adjustable ones, and especially the cleats, is awesome.
Yeah, that's way worth it. I don't need a spray and bed liner because when I buy a vehicle,
You just ruin it
I
right
buy
away?
it for life. I buy it for life. So
Don't you want a spray-in bed liner then?
no, no, because I don't care what the bed looks like.
Oh, okay.
Obviously, have you seen what I'm wearing today? Obviously,
Yes.
I don't care what I
Yes.
look like.
All right, so a few notes on the Frontier. Departure angle, 23 degrees. Ground clearance, 9.8.
What's the
Breakover,
approach?
19.6. Approach is a really good 32.3.
That's not bad.
Not bad at all.
Yeah,
So 310 horsepower, 281 pound-feet of torque.
that's nice.
Towing on this particular model is 6,680, which is pretty darn good.
Yeah, that's all I need. That's all me personally.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and this has the around view monitor with off-road mode, so you can look at the cameras up to 12 miles an
So,
hour.
do I have drive modes in this? I don't.
No drive modes. That's what
That's
I love
rad.
about it. I don't
Oh my
want
God.
drive. I don't want drive modes. I don't want the car telling me how
What
I
to
should
do?
drive. No.
Yeah. Oh, that's f***ing
Just
rad.
a great, honest pickup truck.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're at the base of this hill climb, and we are going to traverse it shortly.
Yeah, we're gonna traverse.
Look
this
at the
really
awesome
easily.
saguaro cactus. I wish you guys could see the saguaro
Yeah.
cacti that are surrounding us. They're like gatekeepers for this nice little rutted hill climb.
I know. I love it. Although, look at that one's got a little flaccid pee-pee.
It does look sad.
Like, you guys, all of the other little, like, spines are, like, standing straight up. And then there's one that's just, like, rural.
So much of this is getting edited out, folks. Although I do have the flaccid pee-pee drop now for
Yeah, you're welcome.
the Truck Show podcast.
You're welcome. Although, look at that one's got a little flaccid pee-pee. All right, how fast should we do this? Should we go
30.
Should we go as slow as possible, as fast as necessary? Probably.
We just do whatever you need to completely bottom out, top out, and then hit everything on the way up.
Ooh, wait, did she get a wheel up? No. Do I really need to wait this long? They're fine. All right, here we go.
Hey, this is a nice hard pan. Lots of
is.
rutted, lots of moguls.
Yeah, this is definitely a choose your own line
Andy
adventure
is
here.
picking through like she picks
Like I
winners from her
own it.
nose.
Like I own it, bitches.
You feel the traction control in this, which is actually
Yeah.
really good. The BTC, brake traction control, when you can't use the locker, is fairly aggressive on the Frontier, so it's really good at keeping you moving. Look at you like a champ.
I can pick a good line because I'm awesome.
I feel like you get about half a spin of the tire, and then
Yeah, I only
basically
felt
comes
it.
in.
I only felt it spin that
Yeah.
one time, and then it hooked up
engages
pretty
really
easily.
fast. Yeah. Look at that piece of cake right on up.
Oh yeah. Oh, a little bit of spin right there. That wasn't bad. Go, baby. There you go. There she goes. Oh, she's such a good little truck. Oh, I love the little truck. It's so good. That's how I talk to my cars. You know what we're gonna get in
A
this?
lot of drops is what we're gonna get.
Yeah, and look, we got the little paddle cactus and the other little like stick cactus, and we have my favorite, the choyas, because they're like, I'm cute, but stay away. Like they look all fuzzy, but they'll kill you.
Yeah,
That's me.
So they should be called Emmys.
I would really love to have choyas in my front lawn, my front quote yard, which is
Yeah.
just a patch of dirt. But
You don't want to fall on one drunk?
I don't drink that much, but
when you do, you fall on
But when
Toyas?
I do, I get really fucking drunk. No, like when I have a lot of people over at my house, everyone just parks on my lawn, and so I'm like, if I have Choyas, but look at how pretty that is. Look at it; it's so like fuzzy and fluffy.
Yeah, I like the way they reflect. The needles reflect the light.
Yeah, those are great. I love the steering so much.
Yes, there's a lot of feedback. It's not artificial. It's also a little bit on the heavy side.
Yes,
which I like.
I like it too
because it doesn't get kicked back by the terrain.
Oh my God, it's amazing.
If you look at the Frontier in front of us going downhill, you can see the full skid plates. The other thing I like about the Frontier is it's based on, I don't think they call it this anymore, but the F-Alpha platform. And so that platform's underpin the Frontier, and then Titan also, a bigger version of it, since 05. But the thing about it is it's fully boxed.
Yeah.
And if you look at the one going up the hill right now, if you notice, nothing hangs below the frame rails.
Yeah, that's
So on
rad.
the competitors, there's a lot of stuff that hangs below the frame rails. Everything on the Frontier, they've tucked up above it. So from a underbody protection, it's really, really well engineered and designed. Yeah.
When I see like low hanging diffs on stuff, and I'm like, and they're like, our ground clearance is, whatever. I'm like, but is it really?
But like, it's the transfer case. So, like, Toyotas are notorious for having the transfer case hang below the frame rails. And that's not what you want to hit.
No. Can I ask a technical question, though?
Sure.
Okay, so I've never understood why in the rear of solid axle trucks, you have one shock in front of the axle and then one shock behind it.
For axle hop.
So just so that it doesn't...
So it cancels out.
Okay.
Yeah. The other thing is some manufacturers do that where they have a staggered shock like that. Some of it allows for a little bit of passive steer. So, like, there was the F-150 allowed the rear axle to move slightly in turns with their setup. So you'd get a little bit more.
But I mean, like, slightly is like a quarter
half a degree or something.
Yeah.
But basically, it's just to control, like, axle wrap.
Okay.
Just to kind of balance out.
Yeah, I never knew that. I learned something. I can go back to bed.
Yep. The other thing I would say is the brakes feel good on this vehicle. I feel like I can modulate them off-road really easy.
Yeah, when we first got in on the street, I was like, oh, the catch point felt a little low, but I like that out here. Can you believe we get paid for this barely?
Some people get paid for this. I basically am just paying myself for this.
Yeah.
This is great, though. I mean, I could think of 1,000 other things I'd rather not be doing right now.
Yeah, no, me too.
Although it's tough for me because being in a vehicle you're piloting off-road wasn't really high on my bingo card.
That I'm piloting?
Right, yeah. And be stuck in a car with you for 6 hours.
Didn't you ask me to be your drive partner today?
I don't believe that's the case.
feel like
I believe
that's what it
you
was.
reached out to me and said, hey, what wave are you on? You want to drive?
Are you sure?
How sure are you? How sure are you?
Are you sure? Are you going back and looking at your email?
Yep, I have the receipts. Okay.
So wait, we're not even far away enough to not have email?
Okay, here we go.
All right.
Ha! Tuesday, February 18th. Which wave are you on for the Nissan trip? 1. Okay, I'll sign up for that one if you want to drive together. You bet. And then you said, and by drive together, I mean being a guest on the podcast. And I said, I mean maybe. And then you sent a bunch of emojis with halos, and then I laughed at you.
See?
So there it is. I got the receipts.
I know. Now people know how desperate I am.
Hell, I brought you 3 Dr. Peppers today.
3 Diet
too.
Dr. Peppers. Did you burst into flames when you bought those, by the way?
Nope, I did have to explain to the woman why I had 3 diets and a regular.
The diet thing. I tried Dr. Pepper Zero when I was in Baja because I couldn't get regular Dr. Pepper. I mean, regular Diet Dr. Pepper. It was okay. It's definitely not the same as Diet Dr. Pepper, but it's not vile like Coke Zero is vile.
Yeah, or Diet Dr. Pepper's vile?
No, Coke Zero is really vile. All right, how stupid is this? Should we go into low? How stupid is this?
Depends if you want to ride the brakes or not.
Well, I don't really want to. You know what? I am going to use hill descent control because I haven't ever used hill descent control in this, so I should experience it.
You should do that.
Where is it? There it is.
All right, so here we are. We are headed downhill, and Emmy's going to try out hill descent control in our Frontier.
Wait, do I have it on? How do I know if it's on?
Well, did you push the button?
Yeah. Turn that off and return that back. Okay, there it is. Okay, my foot is.
Oh my God! Don't do that.
Oh my!
This
You are the worst person
Thank
I know.
you.
All right, my speed is 2 miles an hour. I want to go a little bit Well, no, let's just let it do what it wants to do.
Let her eat.
Okay, my foot is neither on the brake nor the gas. And we are just picking our way down this line. I don't know, is there a way to tell me what my degree steepness is? Infotainment?
It's on your screen for the driver. There you go, right there.
Oh, there it is. 12 degrees.
So you get steeper right down here.
Yeah.
Amy was tired of going 2 miles an hour. The Frontier was working awesome, and she's like, screw you, hill descent control. That works. I'm going to go faster.
Well, but you know what? Yeah, but I could go a little bit faster right there. You know what's nice, though, is that it doesn't make, like, the clink, clink, clink sound, you know?
Yeah. The solenoid's firing off.
I do have my seat all the way up.
Okay. Follow the man's directions. I know you don't like doing that, but in this case, you should.
I know you can do this in the Miata. 4 low and hill descent.
Yeah, that's
you
what
need to touch your brake.
Yep.
A couple areas here where you're going to bounce and slide a little bit. You might hit a little on the bottom, but you'll be fine. Just take it nice and slow.
Cool.
A little bit more to your left.
And what degree are we
Back
at?
around to the right now.
Woo! This is 13 degrees. Woo! There it
Nice.
goes. Yeah,
job.
buddy.
Good job.
I
Did you
didn't do
trust
anything.
hill descent
That was on
control?
the truck. Yeah,
No
my
brakes?
Foot, yeah, my
That was
foot's
awesome.
not on it.
Perfect.
It's not on it. Let me see. How fast are we actually going? Still 2 miles an hour.
That was perfect.
Yeah, that was good. Good job,
Well
Frontier.
done,
You're
Debbie
so
Hall.
cute. Your orange paint job. You know what else I like about this truck? It goes in and out of low gear
Fast.
and easily. There's no
Mm-hmm. So, and waiting for the blinking lights and all that kind of stuff.
No, that's awesome. Hi.
You're a ringer.
Am I?
You've done this before.
A little bit. A little bit. Something like that.
Yeah. It's funny how you just watch people and you know they've done that.
Yeah. Oh, I really want to go fast here.
This is the perfect go fast.
Section, I know.
Yeah.
This is where I want to.
Open it up a little bit. Let that 310 horsepower sing.
How much torque? 2 something?
281.
I might want a little
Let her
bit
eat.
more torque. Ooh, this is steep. This is steep with some ruts. We should definitely do this in 4-wheel drive. No, let's do it in 2-wheel drive and
Backwards.
just like fucking super fast.
All right, so now we are approaching yet another little hill climb. This one's pretty rutted, a lot taller than the other ones. So far, the little Frontier has acquitted
know.
itself quite well.
I mean, if it were me though, I would take this line right
Yeah,
here
that's a
because that's
great
way easier.
Yeah. No, they're having us take the more
They're having us
difficult
take the
line,
hard line. Yeah,
which
I
is
get
great.
it. I get it. Steady throttle control.
Yeah,
Girl.
that person in front of us is not exercising very steady throttle, consistent throttle application.
Look how steep that is.
Oh, yeah, we're going on a super steep downhill.
Yeah, we're gonna
Nice
go.
and rutted.
We're definitely gonna go into 4 low for this.
Really?
Look at me making good decisions.
Wow, that's different than the Emmy I usually know.
But no hill descent control. Oh yeah, it's a little fast.
See, now put it in hill descent control to see how much more controlled it is.
Yeah, this is
So
17
much
degrees.
better.
So much better. Yeah.
So much better.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make any crazy noises.
Dude, remember when hill descent control first came out and it was just
That
like
machine gun fire?
chunk.
Especially on the Toyotas.
Oh my god! You thought that the whole everything was just gonna fall out of the
Yeah.
bottom of the truck.
Yeah, the whole front end would vibrate.
Yeah, it was bad.
We made it. Congratulations.
Oh, phew! I was so worried.
All right, so now you've gone uphill, you've gone downhill, you've been in sand. What do you think of the Frontier?
I like it. I like it. I would.
I like it a lot.
I like it a lot. I would like to see it in the dunes, because I do a fair amount of drive. I do
Yeah.
a fair amount of drivings in the dunes. But I mean, so far it's done everything that I've asked of it. I mean, it didn't go up that hill in 4 high, but we kind of knew that was going to happen.
That would have been anything, though.
Yeah.
It's easy putting 4 low, put the locker on, and walk right up.
Yeah, for sure. So you can't lock her in 4 high.
Right.
You can't lock her in 4 high. That's kind of a bummer.
That's most manufacturers.
I know.
Not all of them.
I know most manufacturers, but then again, I would want that. I would want that maybe in the dunes, 4 high with the locker.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
I can see that. At least it has good brake traction control for the rest of the time. And then I do love the styling, and those new standard wheels are still the best.
Yeah, the standard wheels are
freaking
dope.
love
And
them.
I like the front end.
Yeah.
and the color is good because you can get it in this and you can get it in that red.
Yeah,
which you like.
I love the red.
I'm not a fan of the red, but I like it that it's not just like black, white, and gray.
Yeah. I mean, every time I get into a Frontier, I'm like, I would totally rock one of these.
I can
like
see
these
it.
trucks a lot.
I could see it happening. If I could put like a lift and some go fast suspension on this.
Well, you get the Nismo Bilsteins, and those are basically the same shocks that used to be on like a TRD Pro back in the day.
Yeah, but those aren't go fast. Like,
sure
they're good.
They're 60 millimeter.
I want like the E. If I'm going to go the Bilsteins, I want the E squared ones.
Well, that's a Black Hawk that's tight, and there's no aftermarket for that.
Yeah, but I would do that. That's what I would do.
But I'm trying to be realistic. I'm trying to say what I could actually do. Put a nice set of shocks on here, bigger piston, because these have Bilsteins and they're tuned really well, but you and I both like the desert. So I do a 2-inch lift, and I would do a little bit bigger shock, and I would put 33s, and I would just go have fun.
Yeah, that would be a great trip.
It would be awesome.
Yeah, and then I could still tow Buddy, right? 6,600 pounds.
I mean, this is definitely on my list, because I miss having a pickup truck. This is definitely on my list for what I might replace the Aria with.
The what? Oh, the Aria.
Yeah.
Right. That's funny. You're going to go from an electric little car to a truck.
And I love it for what it does, but I just need a pickup truck.
Yeah.
And it's just like when I don't have a pickup truck, you realize, damn it, I don't have a pickup truck.
I know.
So we'll see. I don't know. I go back and forth. Might be a Super Duty regular cab.
Oh, it's so big.
Like it's 10 years old.
It's so big, though.
Yeah, but it just does all the things that I want, other than carrying people, which I don't need.
No, nobody likes you.
No, I don't like anybody anyway, so it works.
Yeah, that's a single thing. I mean, Denise doesn't even want to ride with you.
I mean, once a year.
So normally at this point of the show, we're listening to voicemails or reading emails, but it's been kind of slow going. I think since we founded the Podshed Insiders, you guys just like talking in there. But I'll take your emails, truckshowpodcast@gmail.com, or your voicemail, 657-205-6105. But let's dip into the Podshed Insiders and see what's going on in there.
Join the Podshed Insiders. Why not? We're having fun with all that's being said, hooting and hollering in the online shed. We're having fun, talking trucks, and other totally rad and random stuff. No matter where you are, hang out in Holman's backyard. Join the Podshed Insiders, why not?
That's right. Why not? Head over to Facebook and go into the Podshed Insiders. We're over 350 members strong of your Truck Show podcast community. And this week, we've had all sorts of stuff. Ryan Kakulu sent me a 93 GMC Typhoon that is on Facebook Marketplace. Has about 88,000 miles, going for $15,500 in black. Definitely not the $250,000, the one from our last news piece. Then we got Scott Martin busting my balls about the Power Wagon not being from 2005. In fact, he's showing me that there's a 1957 Power Wagon. Of course, I was talking about the first version of the modern one, not the old one. But Scott, your truck looks awesome. Can't wait to see it done. Looks like you got a little bit of a ways to go, but at least it looks like a truck now. And then Kyle Goodrich said that he missed their two-door Jeep, so he picked up another one. And he found a two-door with less than 90,000 miles, a JK, which some would argue is peak Jeep. It has all the creature comforts without all of the computers, although we know JKs have their own set of headaches. And then Chris Alter was talking about having a party. He was part of the tornado warning out in Arkansas this past week. I know you guys had some crazy storms out there. Hopefully everybody's okay, but I'm glad to see you guys are having a little bit of fun with it. But Chris, hopefully you're safe out there. And Mike Coggins posted a picture of some flip-flops that he's going to buy me for Christmas. So anyway, all sorts of stuff going on in the Podshed Insiders. Again, just head over to Facebook and you can join up on there and be a part of the conversation. But I don't want it to be at the expense of you guys sending me all the things that we need to keep the show going. All right, before we go, we've got one really important thing. It's the beginning of the month, so let's see what events are happening in your neck of the woods.
Where is that? I've got 4 chrome rims and a steering wheel. Where is that? I've got 4 chrome rims and a steering wheel. Where is that? I've got 4 chrome rims and a steering wheel.
All right, this episode is airing on April 7th, so hopefully anybody who wanted to go to Meekum in Houston had a good time this weekend. But coming up, we got Florida Truck Meet, April 11th and 12th out at Orlando Speed World. And on April 12th, we got the second annual Rod Hall Tribute Trail Ride out in Las Vegas. And of course, coming up later in the week, April 12th through the 20th, is Easter Jeep Safari. And I'll be heading out there shortly with my new and improved 392, mostly improved because the front axle is all squared away. But I got some other things I'm working on. Hopefully I can get them done before I go. We'll talk about those soon. And if you're going to be out there, hit me up on DM or maybe in the Podshed Insiders. And whoever has the best offer of Dr. Pepper or a icy cold beer might just get me to come out and hang out with you for a bit. Also, April 18th to 20th, Jeep Beach 2025 in Daytona. April 23rd through the 26th is the Bronco Super Celebration East. That's in Townsend, Tennessee. And April 23rd to the 27th is the Carlisle Spring Collector Car Flea Market and Auction at the Carlisle Fairgrounds and Expo Center. April 24th through the 27th out at Goss is the East Mojave Trek. And April 25th through 27th is the Southeastern Mini Truck Nationals in Maggie Valley Fairgrounds. So if you are interested in any of those events, go to truckshowpodcast.com, go to our events tab, and you can find out directly from our calendar how to register or get tickets. And if there's an event that you're having that you want to add, please email me, truckshowpodcast@gmail.com. All right, as much as I hate to see it, that's going to do it for this episode of the Truck Show Podcast. And I do hope you'll follow us on social and share the episode with your friends. Of course, we can be found at Truck Show Podcast or at Sean P. Holman. You can leave us a voicemail. We love to hear from you on the 5-star hotline, 657-205-6105. And our Facebook group, the Podshed Insiders.
The Truck Show, the Truck Show, the Truck Show. Oh, oh.
Give me your feedback. What do you love about the show? What do you hate about? Nah, maybe not that one. Give us your feedback. Good. We'd like to hear the good feedback. And if you have a question for me, if I can be a resource, if you're trying to buy something, you've always wondered some weird question about the automotive world or the truck world, truckshowpodcast@gmail.com. You can also send in your events there or your notes. We want to hear from you. You guys have been pretty quiet lately. I think that's because I'm doing a good job. Our numbers are way up. And so I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. But I appreciate all of you and all of your support. I also thank our sponsors for their support. Companies like AMSOIL who have stepped up big, who have been a great partner of the show. If you love your vehicles like I love mine, you can't go wrong with AMSOIL. They make the best oils, the best synthetics. You can go online to AMSOIL.com, get your oil change kits, everything you need in a box. They are a fantastic company with a great product. Also, Kershaw Knives. Don't forget, 40% off MSRP, free shipping over $50. Just use our special code on the Kershaw.kaiusa.com website, 2540 TSP. And then if you're in the market for a midsize pickup truck, NissanUSA.com. Go check out that Frontier, the Frontier Pro 4X that you heard about in this episode and many other ones. It's a great little truck. And our friends over at UEM Pistons, family owned for 4 generations, over 100 years. These guys know what they're doing. They make some of the highest quality pistons, especially for you diesel guys. Check out the Dualoy line of diesel pistons. And thank you, everybody who has supported me over at my other venture, OVRmag.com. Don't forget, we have a discount code for Truck Show Podcast listeners, and you can get free access for a year to our digital library. All right, guys, I'll look forward to seeing you later this week with our Have You Heard?
The Truck Show Podcast is a production of Truck Famous LLC. This podcast was created by Sean Holman and Jay Tillis, hosted by Sean Holman, and uses production elements by DJ Omar Khan and Jay Tillis. If you like what you've heard, please open your Apple Podcast or Spotify app and leave us a 5-star review. And if you're a fan, there's no better way to support the show than by sharing it and patronizing our sponsors. Some vehicles may have been harmed during the making of this podcast.
All right, I promised you a little auditory delight. So after editing Emmy down from 2 hours to 20 minutes, you can imagine there was a lot of great drops in content and weird stuff that she said. So I have compiled it all into this one audio file, and I'll break it up and we'll probably make some of these drops, but I just want you guys to understand the craziness that I also go through. And here's what's funny. This was only on the first half of the Frontier drive. We still have the Armada in front of us. I haven't edited that yet. And I was thinking, man, it just keeps going. So anyway, without further ado, our good friend, Emmy Hall. Enjoy.
Go, baby. There you go. There she goes. Oh, she has such a good little truck. Oh, I love the little truck. It's so good. That's how I talk to my cars. It's because I'm hot. I'm totally going to have to pee in nature today, too.
There's so many things that I can cut out of this show.
Why would you cut that out? I'm the worst. That was your mom. Oh, my God. It's amazing. I learned something. I can go back to bed.
Yep. Good night.
Well, I don't know.
You're shaking all the bubbles out of my Dr. Pepper, lady.
Well, you're only on your first one, so.
That's true. I only bought one.
Why would you only buy one?
Because there's no way to keep the second one cold.
I know. That's why I'm drinking my second one right now.
You're welcome, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. I can't believe they don't have a cooler on this run, though. That's funny.
Oh, there's definitely a cooler somewhere. They just don't want you to have your poison in there.
I can't believe they didn't provide us with Dr. Pepper, to be honest with you.
I know, they know better.
Ah. Sorry, did that hurt?
Nope.
How about now?
Nope.
How about now?
Still nope.
Well, I mean, I am a lightweight. I can have one drink and then I'm done. Well, we didn't go to jail. It was just those guys. You're not my friend. I'm always nice. People love me. I can't back that up with facts. You're welcome. I can't believe I'm still single. That's amazing to me. I mean, look at me. Listen to me. I'm like the best person in the world. And yet here we are. I'm tall, I'm thin, smart-ish.
36 longs?
I don't know what you're talking about. Is this some boy thing? Bye.